Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Maybe you are wondering why I have two pairs of the EST-12 and even more, why one of the pairs have this very nice case and the other is in this kind of crappy box. Okay, well, this was the original pair that Debra sent me, and I've been in contact with the representative of Debra, and I reported them that here in Chile, and as far as you have been saw in my channel, I publish a few shorts where this also happens in Uruguay. It doesn't happen in Argentina, but here in Chile and in Uruguay, this specific frequency range have some reduced range because the digital TV stations here in Latin America, in some countries in Latin America, transmit in the more or less the same frequency range as this device. Okay, the problem with that is that it somewhat interferes with the transmission of the signal. So you, at the end of the day, a system that could have something around 50 to 80 meters of transmission is reduced here in Chile, again here in Chile and in Uruguay, to 15 meters more or less. Sometimes less, sometimes more, depending if you are near some TV station that is transmitted in this frequency range, etc. Well, Debra was not only kind enough, but they were smart enough to produce a second version with a different frequency range. And as you can see here, I'm going to put them in channel 3, okay? So you can see the difference. In channel 3, you see that the frequency in the version 2 says 6064.9, and the version 1 says 564.9. So it's a 100 megahertz difference between them two, and that made a huge difference, at least here in Chile. I cannot test it in Uruguay, sadly, because I am not there. I completed my business travel already, so I cannot test it there. But here in Chile, the frequency range I am obtaining, and I finished this test like 10 minutes ago, was this. Okay, I went to the parking lot of my building. Here are the Google Earth measurements I'm going to explain. I went to the parking lot of my building, open sky. I have a lot of Wi-Fi frequencies going on here and here, and I started to make my tests. Over the years, I've been in the need to learn to make distant measurements, sorry, with making specific steps, okay, with my steps, or with the extension of my hands. I have precisely 1 meter from my right shoulder to my left fingertips, okay, and I know how to measure steps of 1 meter. It's very intuitive for me. Well, I picked up the second version, the version 2 of the Debra system, and I positioned it here in a pole that is like 170, 180 centimeters from the ground. So this thing is somewhat elevated, okay, and started to walk and started to count the steps, okay. When I reach around 60 steps, I say, what the hell, I'm doing something wrong. I cannot believe it. Maybe I'm getting old and I lost my touch and I am not measuring it very well. And well, I did continue measuring. I have to do this like around the corner. Here is a corner and here is the exit. of the building complex. I did lost count around here with more or less 80 to 90 steps. Okay, I couldn't believe it. I measured various channels. The channel that gave me the most distance, around 100 meters, was channel 1, 2, and 3, and the other channels kept me around here. Okay, channels 1, 2, and 3, and the rest of the channels up to more or less here. And I'm going to elaborate that because there are some quirks in there. Okay, I picked up my setup, which consists only in a tablet running Spotify and me walking far away as the signal allows me from the transmitter. Okay, I picked up all the things. I went to the apartment. I used the measuring tool, and I find out that the rest of the channels, except 1, 2, and 3, started to provide me some artifacts, very small artifacts, here at 50, let's call it 50 meters. Okay, this 51, I can't remember if the pole was here or a little bit to the right or a little bit to the left. Okay, let's call it 50 meters. Okay, and started to get the first artifacts, and more or less here around 60 to 70 meters, the signal was too unreliable to call it like a proper connection. Okay, here I got, like, if I move suddenly, if I orientate the receiver like this, or maybe if I put between the receiver and the transmission and the transmitter, I was getting some dropouts. So more or less here I have no issues, which is around 40 to 45 meters. After that, the connection is too unreliable. But in channels 1, 2, and 3, I started to get the first artifacts around here. Okay, see the distance, 50 meters here, around 90 meters. But the connection, if I moved or if I held the receiver more or less away from me, the connection kept going up to around 100 meters, where again the connection was too unreliable. Keep in mind that this is a wall. Okay, I have obstructions here, and here is a pool that, I don't know, but the water affects the transmission, and there are some cars and some reflections and some things going on, and I can say that, yeah, 100 meters of distance is pretty amazing for a system this cheap. Okay, as you can see here, just to prove you, this is a second version. The first hardware version doesn't have this little sticker advising that this is only 5 volts. Okay, 5 volts input only to charge. Don't connect it to a fast charge, that a faulty fast charge or something like that. Usually the protocol is smart enough to detect this, but just be aware, if you have some of the older power chargers that doesn't have fast charge, you can guarantee that you are not going to burn out your system. Okay, so this is version 1 with 500 megahertz, and this is the version 2 with 600 megahertz. And this system here in Chile is working amazing. Okay, so can I fully, like, blindly recommend it? At least here in Chile. I wish I can test it in Uruguay and other countries in Latin America, but at least here in Chile, and I suspect that that is going to be the same case for other countries in Latin America, it's working amazing. Okay, it's an amazing system. The sound quality is crystal clear. The build construction is really, really, really amazing. Okay, I just wish, again, Debra, please, if you can, please offer the antennas as spare. I bet you that if you contact Debra, they will provide you with the antennas if you lose them. But again, it's better if you make them public and available to purchase in AliExpress, as you did with the headphones. Which, by the way, the headphones I really like a lot. The higher top end, like around 19 kilohertz, is kind of dull because this is a single driver, but the frequency response is really pleasant. Okay, it's I'm not going to call it flat, but it's very clear. The sound that I get from this is really clear. It's not harsh in the highs. It doesn't have too much bass, which for rock and metal is desirable because you don't want that punchy sound in your ears, unless you are the bassist. But again, this is a very amazing, very sturdy system, and I really can't recommend it enough. It's really good. If you can put your hands on this system, either you are in other countries different to Latin America, you can get this with your eyes closed. If you are in Latin America, I suspect that after I make Debra aware that the system is working well here in Chile, they will publish a second version or something like that, available just for Latin America or fine-tuned for Latin America. And the support I've been given is amazing. The Debra representative is a very cool guy, is always available, and is one of those persons that looks for a solution rather than just making excuses. So there you have it. I recommend it a lot. Well, see you in the next video. Bye bye.